blame the Lions players or do you blame Matt Patricia?
As pathetic as the Lions players are, and my God, they looked awful on Monday night. Just an embarrassment and a disgrace. I'm going to blame Matt Patricia.
Why?
Because it's the same old, same old. A Belichick disciple goes someplace else trying to be Belichick. And it never works. Didn't work with Romeo Cornell, not to knock him because I love Romeo
And
Cornell.
that's Stephen A. Smith talking Lions. Welcome into Views from the Sideline. It is September 20th. What's going on, guys? Joey, Malik, welcome.
Stephen A. Smith is correct. I agree with him completely.
And
more after this 49ers game.
I played 2 weeks ago clip of Stephen A. Smith because it still holds true this week. After another loss, even though Joey was so confident going into it, Stephen A. preaching to the choir when it comes to me and Malik. You blame Patricia so far, not the players just yet.
Also,
Quick thoughts, Joe?
Good to be back talking about those Lions.
Oh, yeah. Always good to
Great
talk
to
about
be
Lions.
back.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely taken it down a notch. They definitely. I have. After the loss to San Francisco is kind of rough. They had a couple chances towards the end, and they just kind of ruined it. So
Why do we have to wait or like hold to this little bit of faith that Stafford's going to come back and win us games? Why can't we just win a game outright without having to put our trust in the Stafford to come back and win?
I don't know.
That's all the Lions fans have.
I feel like that happens a lot in football, though, where like teams get into the 2-minute warning and they carve up those deep zone defenses that teams play at the end of games.
I think this is worse because most of his fourth quarter comebacks have been close games going back and forth throughout. And then in the very last minute, maybe the other team scores a field goal and Stafford has to go downfield and win the game. But this first half horrible play calling by Matt Patricia. Matthew Stafford, he was overthrowing guys, but he couldn't get into a rhythm because Matt Patricia just wants to force the run game up the middle, even though the offensive line still hasn't made progress. And his first round pick, Frank Ragnow, you got to give him time, but he's your first round draft pick. He's not supposed to look extremely average to below average from the beginning. So it's a different fourth quarter comeback. Stafford had to drag them back once Patricia finally started to let him throw the ball all over the field. So
their defense did kind of start to create pressure as well, which they stepped up towards the end.
They started
which was nice to see.
And we'll get into more Lions talk as we get in. Before we jump to Lions, though, Michigan State did not play last week, but they do have a big-time game. They play Indiana this week. Is it on the road, Malik, or is it at MSU?
I think it's at MSU. Let me look real quick.
All right, Malik's doing our information check here.
I actually don't know either.
But, I'm ride or die with the Spartans. I'm picking Spartans all day long. I mean, there's
all day long.
All day
you
long.
That confident?
I'm that confident. ASU was a blunder.
It's at Indiana.
It's at Indiana. Ride or die Spartans. 42-22.
Like I said with Arizona State, they better not take this team lightly.
That's why they're prepared now. They see what ASU was like. Now they're ready to go.
There's a true freshman running back for Indiana named Stevie Scott. 6'2", 230.
He got two first names. I'm not worried.
Young man is a problem.
We'll
Huge
see.
size, runs all over teams. Michigan, they better be ready. D'Antonio should have them ready. They should win the game. They should win the game.
That's what I was going to get to now. Last time when we talked about the ASU game, you said it would not surprise you if ASU won, and you got that one right. I'm going to put you on the spot here again. You picking MSU or Indiana?
I'm picking MSU.
You don't want to go out on that limb?
They are the better team. They have Mark D'Antonio, one of the best coaches in the country. It's going to be close, but I think they pull away in the fourth. I'll give it a 27-16 score.
All right. Joe, you don't have any score for that, right? You don't want to talk about it, huh?
I don't know if I really have a score. I think they'll win. I don't think Indiana is as good as ASU, but you don't want to take a team lightly.
There's a lot of circumstances at play, though, with that ASU game. The game started at, 11 p.m., essentially. Home opener for ASU, I think it was, too. There's a lot of things going into that were just kind of extra that MSU had to deal with. So
Right.
Let's talk Michigan. They routed SMU 45-20. Probably should have been a little bit of a bigger gap in that score range there, but
Trouble with scramblers.
Exactly.
Quarterbacks that can run, they always have problems with them.
That's it. And who do they play next week?
Nebraska.
They play Nebraska.
That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one.
I'm not sure about that.
You think it'll be a walk in the park?
if Adrian Martinez was Nebraska's quarterback, and we have no idea, and he's still a true freshman quarterback. Last week they started Andrew Bunch. He's a solid quarterback, but they went against a good team in Troy, got beat at home by the Troy Trojans.
I'm going to say
this Michigan defense at the top of its game should stop Nebraska on almost every drive. Nebraska shouldn't score more than 10, 13 points.
Now,
and Shea Patterson is starting to he's getting really confident in that system. He's very talented, and he should have another good game.
College football is a fickle thing.
It is.
And that's why
anything can happen on Saturdays.
I'm picking Michigan to win, but I think this is actually going to be one of the closer games, way closer than we'll expect. I say this is probably a 10-point game, close down the stretch. I think Michigan probably gets a turnover and gets a touchdown to finish it off. But I'm going to say 30-20 Michigan.
That's the score. For some reason, that's the score I thought you were going to say.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
20.
But I think Nebraska's going to give him some issues. There's something about him.
Scott Frost is a good coach. I wouldn't be surprised.
Joe, what you got?
Yeah, I like that Shea Patterson is really developing a connection with Peoples-Jones. They got 3 touchdowns in the last game against SMU. SMU is not what they used to be. Like, SMU used to be a pretty good squad.
And they got that death penalty.
Yeah, and now they're
playing dirty football. And
they've had some rough times. So for them to even give up 20 points to SMU
penalties
is kind of tough.
It was rough.
So that's a little bit troubling, but overall, I think Nebraska should be a breeze. And like I said, their offense is looking good, actually, which is kind of a surprise. So that's good to see early on in the season, and I don't think it'll be close.
If Joey thinks it's going to be a breeze, I feel better about my pick because Joey's been pretty off this year when it comes to football. Because this is a pretty good transition for me.
This isn't the Lions.
We're going into week 2. Detroit Lions play the San Francisco 49ers, lose yet again. Malik and I were on the same boat last week. We both picked the Lions to lose. And Joey was still sipping that cup of tea, thinking the Lions had a chance.
They had a chance.
Can we effectively say today, September 20th, 2 weeks into the season, that the Lions season is officially over? I say yes.
I wish I knew whether or not the players really believed in Matt Patricia. I wish I knew for a fact how the players felt right now because it seems like they don't believe him. But from that first half, man, I don't understand what his thought process is.
Is the season over?
It may be what Stephen A. Smith said that most Patriots assistants want to go off and be another Belichick. It's hard to say, man. That was a rough first half.
Just from a history standpoint, teams that start 0-2, what is it, like an 8% chance to make the playoffs?
Very low percentage.
Very low to start out. The Lions have probably the toughest schedule remaining in the NFL. I'm not liking those odds. To me, this season's over. Yeah, you can benefit by having players step up and produce and get better week in and week out, like a Kerryon Johnson. Watch for him to kind of step into that number 1 running back role, see Frank Ragnow get better week by week. But when it comes to having the expectations of being a playoff team and the expectations of winning, to me, that's over. You shouldn't have that expectation as a Lions fan. Joe, you got any thoughts on this team?
I think I said it last week. It is now like 98% their season is over. There's a small
wait, what was it last week again?
hint of a chance. I don't even know.
I think it was like 80% or something.
What is giving you 2%?
Yeah, what's a 2%?
What's that?
What's the optimism?
Just some magical thing. I don't know. Like I just don't want to count it out right away.
If only the Lions had some magic every now and then.
Because I still want to enjoy the rest of my Sundays throughout.
Well, you can enjoy it. Just know they're going to lose.
Well, see, that's not enjoyment though.
I mean, you can watch the young guys produce, get better.
So
it's the life of a Pistons fan.
If I don't know, there's like a small chance, and part of it I play into the fact that, especially now with, the Bears did just get their first win, but
Khalil Mack looks good.
Yeah, their defense looks good though, but their offense looks pretty garbage. So there's a chance there. And then the Vikings and Green Bay tied, which technically helps the Lions. So I just take those into account that there is this small possibility because of those weird oddities that happened in the division.
Now,
But
this is going to be a maybe,
that's my 2%. So
this might be a running segment on the show.
Khalil Mack is gonna steal that 2% away from all Lions fans' hopes when we play against the Bears.
I mean, he had one sack last week.
He looked
their,
good
it's their
last
whole
week, man.
defense.
what do
It's
you
their
think he's
whole
gonna do
defense.
against us?
I'm just saying it's
Yeah,
their
that
whole
offensive line
defense.
did not look good. This is going to be a running segment on the show for the length of the NFL season. How many wins do you think the Lions are going to get, Joe? I want to see your prediction go down
I don't
and
know.
down and down.
It's
you
hard
started
to
with
say at
what,
this point.
9? You started with 9, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
They're 0-2, about to be 0-3.
That's questionable.
If we
We always got to keep faith.
okay, whatever you say, man. Whatever you say.
I'm going 4 wins.
See, me being a Lions,
That's where I was leaning.
me as a Lions fan is similar to Chris as a Pistons fan.
Which I don't know. I have more reason to be optimistic as a Pistons fan opposed to you of a Lions fan.
I don't know, because I say that because I know more about basketball and I can be more harsh on the Pistons.
Yeah.
Whereas in football, I mean, I know a lot. I've learned a lot. But at the end of the day, there's plenty of people that know a lot more than me. So I can be a little more hopeful when it comes
Fair
to
enough.
football.
Fair enough.
That's just my take on it. But it's funny that like we're opposite for that.
When it comes to week 2 NFL, that week's in the books. Did anything stand out to you throughout the league? Doesn't have to be Lions that you guys were interested in seeing. To me, it's the Le'Veon Bell situation. He still hasn't reported. Probably not going to report for the year.
Steelers have problems.
There's a lot of stuff
Major
happening behind
problems.
closed doors. Antonio Brown went on social media and answered a fan or supposed fan saying, might as well trade me. I couldn't remember the context of the tweet, but whenever you say something like that on such a large stage, there's something going behind closed doors.
Skip practice on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, DBs are weak. They have so much firepower on offense, but everybody wants credit and everybody wants individual things. I think guys like Juju Smith-Schuster and James Conner and those young guys, they just love playing for the Steelers and they want to play hard. But the superstars, Ben Roethlisberger still wants to be young Ben.
He ain't.
Antonio Brown needs a ridiculous amount of targets. It's not looking good. And Le'Veon Bell did a release party for his rap album the other day, so he's having fun
Hey,
in
man.
Miami. He's living his life.
He's doing good things.
Well, hey,
doing
he's
big
looking to
things.
get paid. And I really don't blame Le'Veon Bell. You know, to be franchised by the Steelers and then not being able to finally like have a chance to get paid, and they don't want to do it to their best running back that has produced for them for so long and so well. I think that's got to be hard for them, especially when you realize that running backs have a short life cycle typically in the NFL.
Might as well save your body for that
So,
big paycheck.
Right. You want to try to get the money while you can, so I can see where he can have some frustration in
Definitely.
Yeah. Besides the Steelers, most people are jumping on the Chiefs bandwagon right now.
Pat
Pat Mahomes looks like the guy.
What
but
about Fitzmagic?
Fitzmagic is amazing.
I'm liking
That
that
Deshaun
too.
Jackson outfit, he
Yeah.
looks like a superstar.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm going to go with the Rams, even though they played one of the worst teams in the NFL. They did that to a poor team. They squeezed the will out of the Cardinals. What they're going to do they're going to get better as the season goes on because Sean McVay is one of the best young coaches in football. He is a football genius.
How old is he?
almost.
He's like 38 or something
he's
like that,
in
right?
his 30s. He
Yeah.
has a ridiculous amount of time in this NFL. They're only going to get better. They're going to blow out average teams. They're going to give really good teams the best that they have. This could be a Super Bowl contender by the time we get
I
to
agree
the
with that.
playoffs.
No, I
This
agree
team
with
is
that
dangerous.
completely.
The Rams are very dangerous.
All right. We're doing a new segment on the show here.
Wait,
We're
we
doing,
got
what?
to look to week 3 of the Lions.
Do we? I mean, the season's over.
What are you
Season-
talking about?
The season isn't over, but
The way you
That's
said
isn't over.
That's
the
what
way
I
you
wanted to
said
hear.
that.
2%. Let's go.
All right. Let's look forward. Week 3, Detroit Lions, New England Patriots, Sunday Night Football. I expect the Patriots to squeeze whatever will
Is this
the
game
Lions
in
have.
Detroit
It's
or
in
New
Detroit.
England?
It's in Detroit.
Okay.
But I expect the Patriots to win this game. So the Jets went 48-17. I'll be nice. I say 45-20. New England.
I'm going to pull a Joey somewhat and
Yeah.
have a slightly optimistic
What?
thought.
Let's go.
What if
Stop it.
What if Matt Patricia
That's what
knows what Bill Belichick
That's what I'm
is
saying.
going to?
That was going to be my point.
What if he knows the script that Bill Belichick would run against the Lions. And in this one game,
Yeah, this could be his
This
one
one game.
chance. It could be one chance.
after this game ends and the teacher was beaten by the student, what if this one game Matt Patricia got at Bill Belichick?
Let me play devil's advocate here. You say Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches of all time, right?
Yes.
Why would he be so dumb to play to the hand of Patricia that he knows what Patricia is going to do because Patricia knows what Belichick does?
Because Bill Belichick, he's so confident, he doesn't care about Matt Patricia.
But what if
He
Patricia
doesn't care about the
knows-
players he releases. He doesn't care about the coaches he gets rid of.
All he cares about is wins.
Yes.
So he's not
Matt
going to let
Patricia's nothing. He's just going to run what he runs. Bill Belichick isn't scared of Matt Patricia. He's not going to change anything for Matt Patricia.
At least I know you're going to pick
You
the
could,
Pats.
you could keep playing that mental game. What if Patricia knows that Belichick knows
Let's
that
hear
he's
you out. Yeah.
smart enough,
Yeah.
that he's so much smarter than Patricia, that Patricia's going to know that, and he's going to counter that, knowing that Belichick's going to think that.
It's all a game.
So-
it's all a game.
I don't know. I'm just saying there is that small chance that, being in that system for so long, there's a weird small chance that maybe
Patriots
this
win
is the
35-17.
one weird chance.
There's 0% chance the Detroit Lions win this
Patriots
week.
win. Is
big-
Josh Gordon playing?
Book it.
That's questionable still. I think that's up in the air. He didn't practice yesterday.
Although he didn't look like himself, and he probably still can't stay off the stuff. But
That's the big thing too, is that so the one advantage for the Lions, or two advantages. The Lions have Patricia that maybe could know
Not an advantage.
because he knows the Patriots system. Maybe that could be an advantage or a disadvantage. And then they're at home, which the Lions always seem to play better at home.
Yeah, talk to the Jets
Not
about that one.
proven this year.
Talked about the
but
Jets on that one.
Typically, the Lions play good at home. And on the opposite side of that, though, the Patriots just got trounced by the Jaguars.
Jags are not a
the
bad
Jags are a
team,
top
man.
team in that.
I
They're
know,
a good
but
team.
Patriots beat them in the playoffs last
Torched by
year.
Bortles. Is Blake
And
Bortles elite?
They got beat pretty bad last week, and the Patriots didn't look like the Patriots. So I'm sure they're going to be a little upset coming off of that loss.
The Patriots are like the Spurs of the NFL. They bounce back after bad games.
Right, and that's what I'm scared of. And then I'm saying also, if Josh Gordon can play and he gets up to speed, it's like almost like a Randy Moss Patriots look.
Okay,
Once
let's
again.
I don't
pump
think
the
I don't think
brakes
he's
on
gonna.
the Randy Moss.
I don't think he's going to instantly. A lot of people have been saying that. Surprisingly,
I don't
It's
know
a-
why.
It's a wild jump.
Oh my
It's a wild
gosh.
jump. But I don't expect that from the start. Josh Gordon.
No.
This is in 2013.
Yeah.
But I'm
even
just saying
if
it could
even
be
if
the
he's at
start
a
of
Pro
it.
Bowl level, he can't get to that unbelievably elite level he was at in 2013. It's possible that he can, but
I think there's a way. I mean, they
Him
put
and
his,
Tom Brady connecting could be insane.
I was gonna say they put his locker right next to Tom Brady.
So by default, he's Randy Moss now.
No.
Apparently, according to Joey,
Just-
if you put your locker
They're
next
gonna
to Tom
try.
Brady,
They're gonna try to use Tom Brady to mentor Josh Gordon, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'm just saying, for a Lions fan, that's scary.
Remember what they thought Michael Floyd was going to do for the Patriots last year?
I
Their best
remember
wide
that.
receiver last week was Philip Dorsett, and now they get Josh Gordon, who
I thought Chris Hogan had a better.
Yeah, I
better
thought
game.
Chris-
I think,
I mean, it doesn't matter.
yeah. Either way,
Yeah.
Isn't Edelman coming back this week too?
no, he
no,
comes
he's-
back.
Oh, okay.
He's suspended for 4 games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just scary, but there's a small chance. And then if they lose this week, it's down to like 99%, and we're down
You
to
still
1%.
give it a percent chance?
Well, yeah, but that's just because of like basic statistics. You start 0-3.
You throw out statistics with the Detroit
If you win the
Lions.
rest of your season, I mean, you're 13-3.
That's not happening.
So I mean,
0%.
I'm just saying
chance.
there's
0.
small possibility.
All right.
We'll talk about it next week.
Transitioning. Moving forward within the NFL season, regardless how the Lions finish out, we're going to try to incorporate NFL picks. I'll make a pick on each matchup in that week of the NFL. Joey will make a pick, Malik will make a pick, and we'll keep record and see who comes out on top at the end of the season. We're still debating whether we'll do playoffs and Super Bowl, but we'll get into that down the line. So let's get to it. Ooh, that music is nice. First matchup, I'll go Joey. The New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns, they play tonight. Who are you going with?
Can you like turn down the music while we're doing this?
Right there underneath.
I'm taking Browns all the way.
Taking the Browns?
Is this game in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Browns all the way.
All right.
1-1-1.
The Browns.
Give them that 1-1-1 record.
And I'm going Jets. All right.
You think Sam Darnold is going to walk into the dog pound
Sammy
and light it up?
D, baby.
That Browns
Always.
defense has been looking really good the first 2 games.
I
That
mean,
defense is the biggest reason they've almost had wins.
no, I agree with that. Yeah. Next up, New England at Detroit. What you got, Joe?
I got to go for those W's. I'm taking the Lions.
Oh my! This is why Joey's not winning.
If there's a way to win in picks, you have to pick differently from everybody else.
Not
He has
that
it down
tight.
to a science.
So you got to take the crazy.
All right,
You got
what
to
you
take
got,
the
Malik?
crazy stuff sometimes.
35-17 Patriots.
Oh, I got
Matt-
I got Patriots too.
See, and the other thing too is, if the Lions ever win any of these games, I'll be
New
ready.
Orleans, Atlanta. Joey
New Orleans, Atlanta.
at Atlanta.
New Orleans. No Devontae Freeman, I don't think.
Malik,
New Orleans.
I'm going Atlanta. Then we got Green Bay at Washington.
Green Bay. Have you seen the decrease of fans at games in Washington?
No, I haven't.
They didn't have a sellout for the first time last week. And
Really?
The entire top bowl of the stadium was almost empty.
That's funny.
Things are getting bad in Washington.
What you
the,
got?
the culture is just getting thrown out. Green Bay.
I think I'll go Green Bay.
And then I'm going Green Bay as well. And then we got Indiana at Philly. That's an interesting one to me.
Carson Wentz back.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think they'll
Carson
be
Wentz is back.
motivated. I think
Yeah.
Philly.
Luck versus Wentz.
You got Philly?
I got Philly.
I'm going Indiana.
Wow. Thinking
Fixed
it's- Trying to think NBA.
The Buffalo Bills at Minnesota Vikings. I know Joey wants to go
Ooh-wee.
big on this one.
Vikings.
That's bad. That's really bad. Vikings.
Well, there's no question. I'm
The,
going.
the
Vikings.
Bills are bad. The
That-
Lions get to play the Bills, don't they?
Yeah, that's their one win this year.
Let's go.
Hey.
That's that
Let's
1 in
go.
15.
If they lose to the Bills, I think I'll sit next season out.
Sorry, Bills Mafia. This season is going to be maybe more rough than ours.
And then we got Oakland at Miami.
Ooh, that's
I'm going
rough.
to go with Oakland.
I'm gonna go with
Miami.
Miami.
has started hot, but I think Gruden gets his first win.
You got Oakland.
Last week he was close. I think he gets this one.
I'm gonna go with Miami.
Joey's
If
got
Miami starts 3-0, that'd be something. That'd be a shot.
I would
And I'm
be
going
very
Oakland.
surprised.
Denver at Baltimore.
Baltimore
I'm going with Denver. They have something going right
playing
now.
in Baltimore.
I know. I just Denver
All
has
right.
something going.
You're the one that
Let
picked
him
the
go.
Lions, and you're
Let them
you're-
go. I know, but come on, guys.
I'm going Baltimore as well. Cincinnati at
I
Carolina.
feel like that one might bite me, but
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Cincinnati at Carolina.
Cincinnati started out hot.
I'm going with Carolina.
I'm going.
I'm
with
not taking them in Carolina.
I'm going with Cincinnati. I think they're riding a hot streak. They can keep it up.
I'm Team Cam Newton all day. I'm going Cam Newton. Giants at Houston. Those New York
Houston.
Giants, baby. Yeah,
Houston.
yeah. I'm going.
That Giants
Houston,
O-line
too.
is so pitiful.
Yep.
So bad.
Yeah, I'll go Houston.
Tennessee at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
This one's,
Whether it's Mariota or
this one's actually
yeah.
kind of tough.
I gotta go Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
That Tennessee offense, I don't see them having a chance against Jacksonville in Jackson.
Nah. San Francisco at the hottest team in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Pat Mahomes lights it up again.
You guys are both going
Maybe not
Chiefs?
6 touchdowns again.
This is where I separate from
But-
you guys. I'm going San Francisco. Jimmy
Wow.
G, baby. Jimmy G. I mean, the Chiefs aren't going to go undefeated. They got to lose sometime.
Yeah.
And
but
Patrick Mahomes is a young quarterback. He's due for a rough game. He's not going to play like this
yeah,
all
he's due
season
for a
long.
rough game. Yeah,
So we'll see.
just not this one.
I don't think San Francisco's defense is that good.
And the Battle of LA. Chargers at Rams.
Rams.
I know Malik's going Rams.
I think the Chargers surprise in this one.
You're picking the Chargers?
Yes,
Wow, that's a
I think
surprise.
I
to
think
me.
Phillip Rivers outduels Jared Goff, but the Rams still have a fantastic season.
Are you-
Phillip gets this one.
Philip gets this one?
Yeah,
All right. I'll take the Rams. Dallas at Seattle.
Both teams are not great.
Dallas.
I think Seattle figures
Seattle-
something out.
Seattle's looking.
They've looked bad. Well, Russell Wilson got sacked 5 or 6 times on Monday night. That's pretty rough.
That Seattle
I'm-
crowd. That Seattle crowd is the difference in this. I think Dak Prescott doesn't have a very good game in Seattle.
What you got, Joey?
Seattle.
And I'll take Dallas. Chicago at Arizona. I'm going Bears.
Man,
This is an easy one for me.
I think if Arizona starts Josh Rosen, they have a better chance. But
They won't.
that Chicago defense is still way too much for Sam Bradford. Way too much.
I'm
Lock
gonna
in
go
Bears.
I'm gonna go for the Cardinals upset.
And last game.
Know whether or not it's Josh Rosen or Sam Bradford.
Yeah,
Just taking a chance.
Yep.
All right.
because I don't think Chicago's offense is that impressive either. So I mean, Chicago's defense obviously will be the deciding factor if they get to the Cardinals, but I'll just take a flyer on this one.
And then the last game, Pittsburgh at Tampa Bay, Monday Night Football. Probably the hottest quarterback in the NFL with Patrick Mahomes, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzmagic. How do you not pick him? Give me Tampa Bay.
I don't think. Oh.
Fitzmagic versus the Drama Club. I don't
Exactly.
know.
I think this is a pretty easy one.
Steelers DBs aren't good enough. Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson,
Deshaun's
and
got a
OJ
couple
Howard.
TDs.
Deshaun Jackson's looking pretty good.
I don't
Looking back to
yeah.
form a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay too. They're exciting. So
Tampa Bay has a quarterback that can actually hit Deshaun Jackson when he's open.
their problem is their running game is pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't think Fitzmagic lights it up like he has the past 2 weeks, but I think he has a very efficient game. Maybe 250 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Tampa Bay wins.
Tampa Bay. All right. Well, there we go. We'll keep record of these. We'll go back. We'll update the records going into it'll be week 4 next week that we make our predictions. So just something to look forward to every week. Now we're going to transition into Northwest preview. This is probably perfect timing for the Northwest preview in the NBA.
Most competitive division in the league last
Definitely,
year.
and I think it will be the most competitive this coming season as well. And a lot of stuff kind of happened for it's been probably about a week or so that we've been off air. Jimmy Butler has requested a trade. A lot of drama going back and forth from the Minnesota Timberwolves to Steven Jackson, who now works at ESPN. There's a lot of drama behind closed doors, it seems like. And we'll break that down as we get into the Minnesota talk. I want to start with the Denver Nuggets, though. They missed the playoffs last year by 1 game. They lost, I think, it was in Minnesota. They lost, and that's why they missed the playoffs. They went 46-36, 9th in the West. They added Isaiah Thomas, who won't be ready to start the season. Reports came out to say this past week. And then Michael Porter Jr. through the draft, who also might not even play this year. And they lost Kenneth Faried, Darrell Arthur, Wilson Chandler, Devin Harris, and Richard Jefferson. So they did kind of lose a little bit, but you got to take into account they have some young guys that are going to step up. Trey Lyles, Jokic is going to keep improving, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris. Are the Nuggets trending up or down heading into next season? I'll start with Malik this time.
I say the Nuggets are trending up. I have them winning 50 games. And I think they
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
I'm just playing.
Wow.
I think they finished second in this division.
Okay.
Along with Isaiah Thomas and Michael Porter, they added Monte Morris, who
You're a big Monte
Joey,
guy, huh?
summer game isn't the most important thing. I know. Summer
No,
league.
I do like
but
the way that Monte Morris is.
Monte
looked,
Morris
I'll be honest.
could be a really good
He-
backup point guard.
I don't think he's going to get that much time, man.
With Isaiah Thomas out, Monte Morris could make an
It's
impact.
possible.
And they also got Jared Vanderbilt in free agency from Kentucky, which he didn't get to show a lot at Kentucky because he was injured most of the year.
I can tell you right now,
He's an
Jared's
athletic freak.
not going to play much, if any, this year.
He could. Who knows?
I mean, maybe
But-
if they're up at 40.
I only expect this team to get better. What they lost some older guys, some guys that didn't really pan out to what they were expected to be. Kenneth Faried. And I think they really they cut off some things that they didn't need completely. And this young talent, they're gelling more together. They're coached by Mike Malone, right?
Yep.
Mike Malone is a good coach. He has those guys believing in him. And I think they only get better. 50 wins, second in the division.
All right. Joey, what you got?
I think Denver is getting better. Obviously, they've kept their young core that they have, but they, I don't know, like they didn't lose anything that was really that important. Wilson Chandler maybe, but he's had a lot of injury issues.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that was the biggest loss in the offseason necessarily. But if Isaiah Thomas can get himself healthy, he'll be great. Coming off the bench for them, maybe even starting alongside Jamal Murray at times. They haven't really decided how they're going to
Who are
do
you
that.
talking about? Will Barton?
What?
Jamal Murray and
Isaiah
who?
Thomas.
Oh, Isaiah's not going to. He's not going to start the year.
I'm just
though.
saying. No, that's what I.
Sorry,
Is he
Joe.
here?
Joe, I'm working
Malik,
on
I'm
stuff.
going to talk to you.
Joey,
Okay.
I'm working on some stuff.
I was
all right?
talking that Isaiah Thomas, if he can get healthy, come back quick enough,
Uh-huh.
then they'll be good. And
He-
he can either be a great bench player or he can play alongside Jamal
Okay.
Murray maybe at times.
All
I'm
right.
not sure how they're going to pan that out.
I know you have big time faith in your boy Will Barton.
I think he's going to step up again. I think he'll
He's
do
talented.
basically what he did last year, I guess, maybe a little bit of improvement. And then Jokic is obviously getting really good.
Paul Millsap is the key to me.
I agree with that too. I think him staying healthy, health is just a big thing for this team. And if Michael Porter can find his way
Exactly.
in this NBA season, which is still a toss-up, he might not play at all. But that would be huge for them to add more depth to this team that they've been lacking. And I don't know. I think Denver is, again, one of those scary teams that could make a little bit of a run.
I'm high on Denver just because of Jamal Murray, the Gary Harris at backcourt. Will Barton is a 6-man. Jokic is a top 3 center in the NBA. I'm not high on Porter Jr. or Isaiah Thomas going into this year.
Wait, who do you? I think we talked about this before. Who do you have starting over Will Barton?
Gary Harris and Jamal Murray. That's what
Who's
they
their
ran last
3?
year. That's a good question. I don't think it will be.
Because I have Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Will Barton.
Wasn't
I don't
Wilson
think-
Chandler starting at the 3 last year?
Some games, but Will
But-
Barton
Yeah.
took some.
Will Barton's too small to play small forward.
But he played small forward last year.
I don't think he started very many.
I think
I'll
he
go-
can start
I'll
at
get the
three.
roster.
He
I'll get
played
the
a lot of
roster.
minutes though.
Yeah.
And then Paul Millsap and Jokic. That's a pretty good starting 5. Who cares if he's undersized?
That's true. I think Trey Lyles will play a lot of 3 too. But I can't find it right now. I got the Nuggets going 48-34 this year, 7th seed in the West, just because of how competitive it will be. I just like the youth improvement. Gary, I think Gary Harris and Jamal Murray could be one of the best backcourts in the NBA years into the future, and we could start to see that this year. I really like that combination, and with Jamal transitioning from a combo guard to a point guard more and more so as time goes on. So I got him 48-34, 7th seed, playoff team in the West. Joe?
47-35. They're going to be right on that edge again, but I think they're going to actually make it into the playoffs this year, whether they're going to be the 6th, 7th, or 8th seed or whatever it went up to last year where every team had 48 wins or 47 wins. That's right where they're going to be.
Yep. Minnesota Timberwolves are next up. Lot to talk about with Minnesota. 47-35 last year. They beat out the Denver Nuggets for that final playoff spot in the West. They ended almost a 20-year drought of not making the playoffs. Not 20-year, 15-year drought. They added former Piston Anthony Tolliver, Josh Okogie, Keita Bates-Diop, and Luol Deng. They lost Jamal Crawford, Nemanja Bjelica, Aaron Brooks, Cole Aldridge, and possibly Jimmy Butler. He has requested a trade as of yesterday officially. Training camp and media day starts on Monday. That's quite a small timetable to deal with if you're Minnesota. Before we get into a prediction here, how do you think this shakes out? This is a bad start if you're a Minnesota Timberwolves fan. Very bad start.
I'm not sure because they get put in a very difficult situation because they could just say, we're not going to trade you. But then they lose him in free agency and they get nothing. So maybe they try to do a holdout to where they don't trade him until the All-Star break. But then also they won't get as much value for him because teams will only have him for a short amount of time, potentially. But so I think now would be the best opportunity. But
And you're going to have that cloud over your head throughout the entire training camp, throughout the entire season, if you decide to hold Jimmy Butler like you're suggesting.
right.
And that locker room has already seemed to be fractured from last season and this offseason. Jimmy hasn't been to Minnesota at all in the offseason. He's stayed in LA. He's trained in LA. Hasn't been with any of his teammates. So to me, I would try to trade him as fast as possible. Get what you can for him. And I'm sure Thibodeau doesn't want young pieces. He wants players that can help him win now. So whatever package that helps. I mean, if they want Blake Griffin, I'll take Jimmy. But
So well, I worked it out. They can do.
Joey's done the
We can do
he's ran the
Jimmy.
numbers.
We can trade Jimmy Butler for Andre Drummond.
Why would they want Andre Drummond though?
You could slide Cat to the 4. I think he fits in fine.
That'd be a pretty big front
right.
line.
That's the other thing. But I don't. If Jimmy Butler is going to get traded, I really don't think that he. So he requested 3 teams: the Knicks, Nets, and Clippers. I think their best value is not with any of those teams. The Knicks don't want to give up any of their young assets for it. The Nets don't have a lot.
See, I would say Clippers actually have a decent amount of value. They could get.
I was going to say that the Clippers probably have the most value of those three teams. And now there's a lot of talk that he prefers the Clippers out of all those teams. So that will be interesting to see what kind of deal they could make with the Clippers. But I feel like there's got to probably be a better deal out there with some other team that Jimmy Butler doesn't want to go to.
Yep.
And it's not his choice ultimately. So Minnesota could look for their best option.
Exactly. But could we see Tobias Harris getting traded again? That'd be, I mean, especially in a contract year, that's kind of rough.
Maybe.
He's kind of that perfect player I think Tibbs would want from a trade.
I was going to say Tobias or Gallinari.
I'm sure he would want Tobias going into a contract year, be able to control him if he wants to stay there.
Right.
Tobias is the better player right now.
Yeah.
Gallinari's on the other side of 30. What about you, Malik? What's your first thoughts of this whole situation?
Well, it's not a good situation really at all, because if Jimmy Butler isn't on board with this team, he can still play hard if he's on the team when the season starts, but the rest of the team, they won't be in tune with him. The chemistry won't really be there. Then he came out and said he didn't like the attitude of a lot of the young guys, which is obviously Karl Anthony Towns. So
him and Wiggins,
him and Karl Anthony will play together, but they won't be. Them three won't really be in tune with each other. That won't translate well to on the court play.
To me, it seems like, I mean, you could maybe make it work, but like all the stuff that happened just last night between Andrew Wiggins' brother, Nick Wiggins, and Jimmy Butler, and then now Steven Jackson is involved, talking about how Nick Wiggins was happy that Jimmy Butler asked for a trade, and then Jimmy was saying keep that same energy, essentially. So there's a lot of just talk back and forth that no team is going to perform well with all this happening, in my opinion. So I would just try to cut bait with them, get what you can.
And even if they make a trade, like, it's going to hurt their chemistry right off the bat to have to kind of rebuild this team, depending on who they get, to figure out how they want to run the team. And I don't know if they get somebody that could step into that number 2 role behind Cat, because it doesn't look like Wiggins is going to be able to step up to that point. So it's going to hurt this team. And obviously, in this division, out of all the divisions in the West, is the worst one to have synergy issues.
Yep.
Because you're going to pay for it almost night in and night out. With already being in the Western Conference, and now you're in the toughest division in the Western Conference, like, it's going to really hurt.
Oh, definitely. And that leads to my question, which I think we're all going to agree to. Are they trending up or down heading into the season? They're trending down.
We're all down.
It's a landslide down, too.
I have them last in the division.
Really? I mean, and they still could be competitive being last in the division.
Right.
Before I made my prediction for the Wolves, I had them about 500 before this whole Jimmy Butler situation. I'm going to still say 41-41 for my prediction, but that's with like an asterisk next to it. I don't know if they even win 41 games this year, especially because they play in such a tough division. I could see anywhere from about 35 to 40 wins for Minnesota. I have them just missing the playoffs, 9th seed.
I'll give them 40 and 42 because they still have Karl Anthony Towns, who's one of the best and most talented young centers in the league. You still have a veteran point guard in Jeff Teague. You still have guys like Taj Gibson, some veteran guys. You still have solid pieces and a young superstar. So even with and Andrew Wiggins, if he plays good. So even with the Jimmy Butler problem.
Yeah, Wiggins and Cat are still young. They can still make jumps. And Cat is one of the most dynamic players in the league. And people were talking about, would you rather have Karl Anthony Towns or Anthony Davis? That was actually a conversation before this past season.
Exactly.
So he has that type of potential. And if he kind of uses this whole Jimmy Butler situation as fuel to build him into a good season, anything is possible. Because we've seen AD carry the Pelicans to the playoffs, which I think he did last year. Yeah, Drew Holiday helped. It was nice to have Rondo, but that guard depth that the Pelicans had last year was so pitiful, or I mean that wing depth rather, that AD just shouldered the load for that entire franchise and pushed them to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's why I don't have them having a complete fall off.
Yeah.
I'll give them 40 wins.
What you got?
I'm right there with you. I have them at 42 and 40. They could definitely fall off a little bit more. They could maybe improve a little bit depending on what they get. But obviously, when you're trading a player to Jimmy Butler's stature, you're going to get some solid pieces back. It just depends on what it is that they'll get back. So I think they'll still be competitive. They won't completely fall off the map, but they definitely won't make the playoffs, I don't think.
All right, moving on. Joey's favorite. Nah, it's not Joey's favorite team. I'm lying. Oklahoma City Thunder. Last year, they were 48-34, the 4th seed in the West. They retained Paul George this summer, retained Jeremy Grant. They added Dennis Schroeder, added Nerlens Noel and Hamidou Diallo, who I really like. And then they lost Carmelo Anthony, Corey Brewer, and Nick Collison. A lot of moving pieces there. They had an interesting summer. What was kind of your Joey got something?
It's just sad to see Nick Collison go.
that was the roughest part of the
one
summer.
guy that stuck around through everything.
Yeah.
He officially retired.
That's a sad day. He's a stand-up guy, I'll be honest.
That's one of the best compliments you could give him.
I didn't know we had such a
Forget
Nick
on the
Collison
court.
fan.
Forget that.
He's just a stand-up guy.
I mean, he had a wonderful career coming off the bench for so long, just giving it all to his franchise, you know.
I mean, I guess we should have done a Nick Collison
We could have.
tribute
We could have.
episode.
He'll probably be in that organization soon.
Oh yeah, I
Probably,
feel like
yeah.
he'll have that like Shane Battier effect, like just go right up into the front office. But of all these moves the Thunder made, what was the most significant and will have the most impact when it comes to winning on the court?
I think the most impact was probably Dennis Schroeder was a huge.
So you think they'll be better adding Schroeder and losing Melo?
Yeah. I think having Schroeder coming off the bench as your backup point guard, he's a huge burst of energy.
No, I agree with you completely.
A guy that can run an offense, and he's averaged 20 points a game. He's played very well. Even though the team was horrible he played on, he's played really well in this league. Nerlens Noel is a guy that could be a really solid backup.
There's still potential in that guy.
Yeah, but behind Adams, he could be a really good backup. And like you said, Hamidou Diallo has a lot of potential. I didn't really believe in him going into the draft, but
He had a good summer league.
He showed some stuff in the summer league. If he keeps improving his offensive ability and he gets some more size, he can be a good addition to that team.
And I think it's really good for him to go into a situation where he sees Russell Westbrook and Paul George putting in work each and every day. To get into a good franchise, I think is huge for the development of these young players. If he got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, I might not be as high on him. But I think he just landed in one of the perfect situations in Oklahoma City, and I think he'll be a useful NBA player. Joey, what's your move here that you think helps the Thunder?
I don't think there is a move that
You don't
helps.
think, you don't think they did anything
I
that
think
improved?
they're kind of in the same boat that they were last year.
Okay.
Maybe synergistically they'll be a little bit better getting Carmelo out of there. But I mean, obviously retaining Paul George is great for them. And Westbrook will carry some games for them. Paul George can carry some games for them. Andre Roberson being healthy will help them.
Yeah, huge.
But they don't have a lot of depth overall, and that's their biggest problem. And that's always going to be their biggest problem.
But I think Schroeder helps that depth because before their second unit was run by Raymond Felton.
And before that, Samaje Christian.
Exactly. And I think having a successful bench unit is a big deal to have a solid point guard. Like the Pistons bench unit isn't the greatest, but when you have Ish Smith running it, Ish makes it look a lot better because he's a different tempo player. He's a push the pace kind of guy that can get players involved. So
Dennis could help improve Terrence Ferguson, Jeremy Grant, the backup.
Get players in the right position
starter,
where they'll
actually.
succeed.
Yeah.
But I feel like Schroeder is me first mentality.
He is an attacking guy, but I think when he drives into the lane, he's fast enough to where everybody collapses and he gets guys open, kind of like Russell Westbrook. So
I also think that different situations bring different players. In Atlanta last year, of course he was going to be a selfish player. There was nobody around him.
Yeah.
Nobody. They didn't have any of the draft picks yet. In Oklahoma City, he's not top dog. There's Russell, there's PG, there's Steven Adams, and then Dennis is probably following along there. And I don't see him being selfish in this situation. I think it's a good situation for Dennis. That's why I'm high on that ad.
The other big problem, Russell Westbrook's health.
Oh yeah, isn't he good? He might miss.
He might miss the beginning of the season.
Yep.
He's going to miss all of training camp
Yep.
and everything. And he's got a knee surgery, which is
It
fourth.
was a cleanup.
It's like his
yeah.
third or fourth.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit concerning. Obviously, when you have a guy that plays so many minutes for the team and plays so hard,
does
basically
times,
everything, and has a constant motor, That's going to take a toll on your body eventually. And maybe it's catching up to him. So that's a little bit spooky, especially if they do stay in the playoff hunt this year. That's something to watch out for. Granted, Paul George can carry the load, but that completely ruins all of their depth whatsoever.
Oh, definitely. I have the Thunder trending up slightly just because I like the Schroeder pick. I know Joey's probably got him. What do you got him trending down?
I have them like the same. What are they, 47 and 35 last year?
48.
34.
48. Okay. So I have them technically trending down
And Malik?
just by record.
I have them getting the same record as last year. 48 and 34, third in the division.
Yep, and then I have them slightly up. Yeah, 49 and 33, fourth seed in the West.
I have them 46 and 36. I think the biggest problem is that everybody else in this division is going to give them trouble.
Now, to me, I think it's either going to be OKC or Denver that makes the biggest push in this division. It was kind of a toss-up to me. I went with the superstar. But there's another team, too, that this is a really tough division, man. The more I think about it, this is a really tough division.
OKC or Denver is who you expect to make a push. Who are we about to talk about?
Portland, but I'm not picking Portland to make a push. I know exactly what you're thinking about. But the Portland Trailblazers, the next team on my list, 49-33, third in the West, but it got swept out of the first round of the playoffs from the 6th seed, the Joey Tyson New Orleans Pelicans.
Can I mention the Trailblazers additions, please?
Yeah, please go for it. Yeah.
Trailblazers added Wade Baldwin, Seth Curry,
Solid.
Hey, that's a big pickup, right?
And Fernie Simmons.
Did you say Steph Curry?
Seth.
I'm kidding.
How much better did they get Wade Baldwin?
I like Seth Curry. I'm gonna be honest.
I like Seth Curry too.
I think that's actually a really good pickup.
Those three players.
You forgot somebody.
My boy Sauce Castillo. He's not a big addition. He's an addition, but he's not big. I'm happy he's still in the NBA. Good for you, Nick. Representing Canada.
And they actually did have 2 substantial losses too. Ed Davis was a role player. He was their backup center, and a lot of the players really liked him. He was good for the locker room.
He's been a solid player wherever he goes, basically.
And Shabazz Napier also left.
Played really good as a backup.
He's
one of the best backups in the league.
And I think Seth Curry's being brought in to fill that void.
Yeah, I think he'll play about the same.
Yeah, I think that's a toss-up.
These guys that they added, I don't see any big improvements.
I'm not high on the Blazers going into this
I
year.
like their young guys, but I don't see them making any huge jumps either.
Actually, I take that back. It's not that I'm not high on them. I don't think they're trending up. I have them trending slightly down just because they have the star power in Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, but they have Yusuf Nurkic.
Yusuf Nurkic is a good young center.
Only does so much. But they have good young players. That's it.
Yeah.
They have Dame, CJ, stars.
Caleb Swanigan is good.
He's a young player still developing.
Yeah, Zach Collins is going to be good.
Young player still developing.
I like Jake Layman off the bench. Young player still developing.
Exactly. Like we can go down this roster and say that for almost everybody.
Do
they pull the plug on Lillard and McCollum?
You know what's funny? That's one of my questions on here.
I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I don't know. Dame Lillard is the face of Portland. That would be.
Here's the question that I posed to you. Let's fast forward to the end of the regular season here. Let's say the Blazers make the playoffs, but are a first-round exit again. Do you pull the plug on this situation? If you're the GM, if you're Neil O'Shea, do you pull the plug on Lillard and McCollum?
Yes, because isn't Lillard a free agent after that in the next season?
Summer of 2020, are you talking about?
I believe.
Yeah, I think so. But still.
So that's why I would.
You don't think Dame would come back? Damian Lillard has said he will be loyal to this franchise.
Right, and I can understand that.
But for me, though, I think I can believe Damian.
I also think I can believe Damian.
But also, as a franchise, do you want to be stuck in that void of...
Well, then, okay. So you would trade Damian before CJ?
Probably not.
Okay.
It depends. That's a hard thing because CJ is very talented. And
I would like to see CJ in a lead guard role. Like if he got traded somewhere, like let's just say Brooklyn, I would love to see CJ play the same role that Dame does. Be essentially a shoot first point guard, and just want to see how he would succeed in that.
I mean, he does it quite a bit when Lillard goes to the bench,
and he does a good job at it too. So
right.
I'd like to see him lead his own team and see what he can actually do. Malik, do you blow it up if they miss if they make the playoffs but lose in the first round?
Yeah, I blow it up. They still have Al-Farouq Aminu.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They still have him and Mo Harkless. Okay. But yeah, if if they get beat like that in the first round again, there's no point in keeping it together. I don't think you're gonna bring any huge free agent to Portland. You're not a huge attraction for those types of superstars. I don't know if you expect any of those young guys to blow anytime soon. What's the point of still keeping it together?
See, this is a tough question for me.
And Terry Stotts doesn't make them any better.
I would fire Terry Stotts, to be honest with you. I think my move would be to fire Terry Stotts and bring in another head coach, whoever is on the market at that time. I wouldn't blow it up, though. I'd keep Dame, I'd keep CJ, and build around them, because you're not going to get equal talent if you trade them. You're not going to get a better player for them. Yeah, you can blow it up and start from the bottom, but it's going to take so long to do so. And when you're bringing in so much money as Dame and CJ do, they bring a lot of money to that team, to that organization. They sell out every night.
I'm sure the Portland fans are extremely happy with a consistently good team.
Exactly, and that's another thing
and
too.
And a superstar to look at.
As long as Golden State's around, you're not going to win anything, but might as well make a profit off of your team. And that's what the NBA is. It's a business. Owners want to make money. If you keep Dame and CJ, you're going to make money. You might not win a championship, but no one's winning a championship with Golden State around. So that's why I say I wouldn't blow it up.
You have a point. You have a point.
Just something. I got them 48-34, 6th seed in the West. Still slightly down, but I think they're a regular season team. I think they will lose in the first round. I don't expect much from them in the postseason.
47-35.
I also have 47-35.
We're pretty much all on that same, like within a game of each.
Portland
team.
Is a team that always makes really hot runs in the middle or late in the season.
Yeah. Definitely. And the last team, this is the team that Malik was about to give me flack for if I didn't say they were one of the teams to beat in this division. The Utah Jazz. They were 48-34, had an epic run to the playoffs, 5th seed in the Western Conference. They made some big moves this offseason, guys. They lost Jonas Jerebko and added Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen.
Our Grayson Allen fan in the building.
He's the real Grayson Allen fan.
No, it's my brother, but
I'm
slowly.
Malik, he's a Kyle Singler fan.
I'm slowly catching on to the Grayson Allen.
Yeah. Two do greats. Two do greats.
Do not put my name with that name.
I didn't think
again.
you caught it for a second. They're trending up just because of the development of Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan's going to take another step this year.
That's not the only reason. Quinn Snyder is one of the best coaches in the league.
Oh yeah, I like Quinn.
And that team overall, everybody's in the right place.
I think my pick for Coach of the Year at the end of the regular season, this past season, I had Quinn Snyder.
So did I.
And shout out to Dwayne Casey, Pistons head coach, for winning it. But that's a special team in Utah, and I'd like to see him get another different point guard. What if Utah was able to add Jimmy Butler via trade? That would be really interesting. Yeah, regardless, he might leave.
Where do you squeeze Donovan Mitchell?
Donovan at the 2, put Jimmy at the 3. Jimmy can definitely play 3. He's one of the top defenders in the NBA.
Jimmy could play 3, but I don't think he fits perfectly in that system.
Why? He's one of the most lockdown perimeter players.
This is gonna sound crazy, but Joe Ingles is a better fit for that offense.
Joe can play 4.
You're playing some small ball.
Joe Ingles is like 6'10". Yeah, he's
like
not
6'8",
like 6'9",
and not athletic.
He can stretch
That's
the floor.
a huge risk.
But in the NBA, he can stretch the floor. You have Rudy Gobert, so let's say the guy gets by him. You have Rudy Gobert as your safety net at the rim. So yeah, you have Jimmy Butler as one of the top defenders. Donovan Mitchell's a solid defender. Rubio's a solid defender.
That's trusting Rudy Gobert to get like 5-6 blocks a game.
Well, I'm just saying you have one subpar defender on that front line, or in that whole starting lineup. Because Ricky's good, Jimmy's good, Donovan's good, Rudy is a defensive player of the year every year candidate. I don't know. I think it would be something really interesting.
I'm sold on this team.
If anybody talks to Utah, though, that team is going to want Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert or something, and it's just going to not work out.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, you probably need a third team involved or something, but just something I was thinking. Anyways, Utah trending up or down?
Trending up. I have them 52 wins,
Ooh.
first in this division.
Joey,
the way they looked at the end of the season and in those playoffs, that team is in such great sync together, and they believe in Quinn Snyder so much. And Donovan Mitchell is only going to get better.
They have really good chemistry, too. Everyone buys into that.
Their big question, again, similar to Denver, is health. Can Rudy Gobert stay healthy? Can Ricky Rubio stay healthy? Does Donovan Mitchell potentially have a sophomore slump?
That's possible.
That's
It
a
is
thought.
possible.
I don't know if I don't know if he's that kind of player, but it's out there. The big thing for me is actually Ricky Rubio kind of coming back to a form last year. Played really well. I think in his career he has 2 30-point games before last season, and last season he had like 6 or something. So he's learned to score in the NBA, which was always a big question mark for him. So that's a big deal for their offense, for someone like him to be able to really get Donovan Mitchell and all these guys open, but he can also create for himself at this point. And he's kind of a veteran leader now for that team. So this team is really dynamic. Joe Ingles definitely stepped up in the playoffs. And if they get Rudy Gobert for the full season, they'll be very tough, especially defensively. So I have them trending up. I have them 50 and 32.
Did you have them 52 and 30, you said?
52.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got them 49, 33, 5th in the West. Still, I think what brings their win total down a little bit to me is playing in the Northwest Division. Do I? Yeah, okay. I have them above Portland, I was wondering. But yeah, Utah is a dark horse team to be a top 3 seed in the West, in my opinion. I don't have them there, but definitely could be. Moving on, though, that's our Northwest Division preview. Next week, we have the Atlantic preview. Joey's huge on the Knicks upside this year, so I'm interested to get his take on that.
If Porzingis will play.
And then, we got our
Don't play
Brooklyn.
him.
We got our Brooklyn Nets fan in the building
Sit
too. You're a Brooklyn Nets fan still, right, Malik?
Nah.
No, okay.
Full-time Pistons fan now.
Full time, unfortunately.
Half disappointment.
We got a few minutes here. Joey wanted to bring up too. If you want to bring up the top 50 ESPN release top 50 players in the NBA.
Oh, we're doing this.
I mean, we only got like 60 seconds, but there's a couple interesting
these lists.
names.
These lists are never make people happy.
As Joey pulls it
There's
up,
always they're
well,
always controversial.
they have Jason Tatum ranked higher than DeMar DeRozan and John Wall.
which is ridiculous.
In what world are we ranking him
Which is
higher
absurd.
than that?
That's why I never look at these lists because they always do stuff like that.
It's
Of course, Jason Tatum should
Okay,
be ahead
here's
of
here's
them.
Jason Tatum. He's ranked 24th. This is like my biggest discrepancy in why he was on.
He should be between 50 and 40.
This was why he
probably,
was on my most overrated.
If he's on the list.
I agree with that.
He is ahead of Kevin Love, Drew Holiday, Kemba Walker, LaMarcus Aldridge,
Oh, yeah,
Bradley
this-
Beal,
In what world?
CJ
this is
McCollum.
ridiculous.
and that's CJ McCollum is 30th. 31, it even gets crazy too, where we have Blake Griffin is. Oh wait, Devin Booker is 31. He's not better than Jason Tatum. John Wall is 32.
If we did our most overrated, underrated show this week, Jason Tatum would be the most overrated.
Based
player
off
for me
this?
this year.
I believe.
Even other ones, Sports
I
Illustrated
believe
did
he
too.
will be a superstar, but he's not a superstar right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is. I thought this was ranking the top players in the NBA. He's
Yeah.
not a top player in the
They-
NBA
he's
yet.
not
They
a top
have
player yet.
Jason Tatum at 24. Jaylen Brown is 37. DeMar DeRozan is 39th.
Yeah, it's
Gordon
That
Hayward
is rough, man.
Gordon
That's a
Hayward
rough
is 40.
list.
Granted, he's coming off an injury, but still, that's crazy to me.
No, that's
Gordon
really
Hayward is an all-star player.
And
Jason Tatum isn't an all-star player.
Andre
yet.
Drummond is behind Jamal Murray at 46.
Yep, it's about time to end the show.
Well, it's been a good show, guys. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Chris Pappas, Joey Tysick, Malik Hill, Atlantic Division preview next week. Another Lions loss. We'll see ya.
Eric Gordon is 42.
Patricia knows. Remember that. Patricia knows.
Nothing, Joe?
But
What is
Belichick
this?
knows more.
What is this list?
It's horrible. They always make horrible lists.
All right. See you guys later.